Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do this monoprint. You're going to find this in your kit. It's got the blue on it. This is going to come off. This was just on there for protection and shipping. So there's one on both sides. You're going to take that off so that you can see through this. The reason you want to see through it is in case you want to put a picture underneath it. So for the monoprints, you guys are going to want one of these. Unless you got a spray bottle, you're going to want your watercolors because we're going to paint this with watercolors. Now, if you have a picture, you can get a picture out of a magazine, a picture of a flower, picture, if you got a photograph, you can use that, or a drawing that you've done. You could do that. So what you would do with that is you're going to put this over the top of that. And you're going to paint it. Now, when you paint this, and it's okay if you don't finish it in one sitting, you can let watercolor dry. But when you paint this, you don't want it to be real watery because you want it to be kind of thick. So I could paint on here. And if you got too much water in your brush, make sure you have a paper towel so that you can take out some of that water. Because it's on plastic, and you see if there's too much water, it wants to leave holes. It wants to move around, so you might have to do a couple layers. And you're going to paint. Now, you don't have to use a picture. You can paint anything you want. You can do something abstract. I want you to make several paintings, several monoprints. Do some like this where you're just playing, but then also do some with the picture. You can make as many as you want. I'm going to be just kind of abstract. Now see how I'm going to put a paper underneath it so you can see what it really looks like, because it's hard to see. I'm going to put paper underneath it so you can see that. And you see how that pulls. I don't know what I'm going to paint. Maybe I will make it look like flowers. Now, when you do watercolor, you have to watch your colors. Because if you'll notice, if I get in here where the red is and I've got green, it's going to turn an ugly brown. So always be careful. Always have your paper towel so you can get out excess water, or if you want to change colors. So I'm just going to paint some grass. I'm going to do this really quick. I just want to make a quick video for you. So you'll have an idea of what I want you to do. You see how it's separating? So you don't want as much water. You want that paint to be thick. I'm going to add some blue. So I'm trying to make this look like grass. That's my thoughts on this. You could do a sunset, or you can just be totally abstract. Now, if this stays wet, I don't need to wet my paper. But if this dries, then you'll have to wet your paper. starting to look kind of dirty. And it'll look dirty if I get that green and that red mixed up. Because green and red will make a brown. And if you're not careful, it'll make a dookie brown. You know, that's not really a real color, dookie brown. I've never seen a crayon called dookie brown. It's a made-up word, dookie. Kind of a funny word. Maybe I'll put a little, well, I'm afraid if I put purple in there, it'll turn as well. But, yeah, I'll just stick with red. Now, as long as that's wet, I can just take a paper, and you get one of those thinner papers. If you're going to do it this way real quick, get a thinner paper, one of those thin papers. And I could just sit that on there, and then just rub my hand over it. And then just lift it up. And there's my monoprint. That's all there is to it. It is that easy. And it's kind of cool. And then if I wanted to, I could take a marker and go in there and do some stuff to it. But there's a monoprint. Now, if you're doing a picture, now let me clean this off real quick. Paper towel. Nice thing about watercolor is it cleans up really easy. Let me clean that off. Now, if you're doing a picture, it's going to take longer, and you can let that paint dry. Now, I'm not going to take the time out because I'm trying to hurry on this video. Just trying to do something really quick. But let's say I started painting this, and I finished my painting. Let's say I finished my painting. So I've painted it, and it's done. Let's say I've went and it's done. I've painted it. It's a nice, pretty picture, and it's all done. Now, and it had to dry because I didn't have time to print it. So it's dry. So if that happens, what you've got to do is you need to wet the paper. Now, you could either run it underneath a sink, some running water, but then you don't want it to be dripping wet. You want it to be damp. Another thing you could do is to take your sponge brush and just rub some water over it, like that. So this is another way you can get it damp. You only need to do this if your paint is dry. So you're going to dampen that. And then you'd press it down on your dry painting. And then do the same procedure. And then lift it up. Of course, I didn't have any paint there really, but that's how you're going to do this. So, and then just have fun. Experiment. Do different things. Paint a fish in some water, maybe you know, like an ocean scene. Paint a sunrise, maybe on a beach with maybe some palm trees. So these are quick, they're easy, it's easier to clean up. And if you're not going to do the reduction print right now, then I want you to do a whole lot of monoprints and have fun with it.